I miss home is always home. It's Africa. Although South Africa, I don't complain much about my life here. And besides some of aspect where, like these ones here, which really make you to undermine your level of humanities. But you miss that sense of tranquility, sense of like you leave home, and then that's what God didn't make a mistake to make me to be a Congolese.
Can you believe? All of you have got Congolese blood in your phone. Because they're actually making phone with a mineral called coltan. That mineral from Congo. So they need to organize war. They need to kill people to make unstable the country so they can steal our riches. People are dying in Africa like flies. Tell me, AK-47 wasn't the gun. It's a gun that wasn't made by African people. But AK-47 made desolation in Africa. AK-47 is a gun who kills a lot of Africans. Why? Why we deserve all this?
I can just say I've been persecuted in Congo in the way I can't even try to have time here. And I'm not alone. Even as I'm talking now, there are people who are still held in prison and they don't even talk about it. They don't even take them for fair trial. There's nothing is exactly. You don't know what kind of system is that one. Then the only option which you can have in front of you is just to run for your life.
As you can see, this is the result of physical beatings and torture. That I went through before leaving the DRC. When I look at it, it's so painful for me to start to talk about it.
A refugee is someone who has been forced to flee his or her country because of persecution, war, or violence.
A refugee has a well-founded fear of persecution for reasons of race, religion, nationality, political opinion, or membership in a particular social group.
When people flee their own country and seek sanctuary in another country, they apply for asylum seeker, the right to be recognized as a refugee and receive a legal protection of material assistance.
An asylum seeker must demonstrate that his or her fear of persecution in his or her home country is well-founded.
Yes, my uncle's name is Chen Tshisekedi. He's the national president of UDPS. But then after a while, they were banned. Then they were put under house arrest. That was the life which we had back home. I was really vulnerable to any sort of injustice.
We went to the southwest of Congo, the southeast of Congo, to investigate how Kabila and his government they were doing a lot of execution. We were 4 of us who conduct that mission. So we investigate, we took pictures, we took everything about what they were doing to human being body. They really wanted to kill us. You see, if I show you, I've got scars of shooting in my legs. You see, it starts here, it comes through here. If I decided to move, it's not a joke. It's because those people, they are so cruel. Those people, they are so bad. They doesn't have nothing of God in their mind.
I don't know if what can you do after maybe being in front of like a team of people and they put maybe container full with petrol there next to you, and then they just say, do your last prayer, and then they will, you're going to be satellite, consumed. That's what I went through in Katanga. I could not have time to prepare for my passport and just to run from that place. This was the only nearby place I could seek refuge and try to get protection.
Some of people, they usually think that all of us foreigners, when we move from our country, we came here to seek for best life. But it's not the case. We moved here because we wanted to be safe, to be in the safe position. That's why we came here in South Africa. Because things that is happening in Congo is very bad, very bad.
I still remember this stereotype whereby you find they treat the non-nationals being makwere-kwere with that perception of coming to overtake South African work and South Africans, women, all those things.
I mean, you're going to get those who come here to sell their drugs, to rob, to kill, to steal.
What they're doing is they're taking jobs from, like, honest-to-God South Africans.
They are cheap laborers. Our sisters and our brothers, they don't get work here because of them.
I mean, I think if we're talking about a country like South Africa, its very social fabric has been shaped by patterns of migration, some which have been voluntary, if you want to go back to the Bantu migrations coming here hundreds of years ago. Some, of course, and more recently, involuntary, where the whole population or large parts of it have been forcibly removed from land, put into certain areas. Same reasons people come to Johannesburg or Cape Town from Mpumalanga or KZN. They're coming here because there's opportunity. From the region, they come to South Africa because there's opportunity. Seeing that as something abnormal, seeing that as something threatening, I think means that we lose the chance to capitalize on it, and that we lose what's good for, potentially for Johannesburg, for South Africa, but also looking at the region and its prosperity, at its stability, the welfare of all of its residents.
When I came in South Africa, firstly I didn't know how to communicate myself with people. It was also an issue. If I tell you that today is better because I've got somewhere to sleep, I spend night in the park, I spend night in the church, seeking how to find out. It was very, very bad. And because to sleep in the park is safe at night. Because at night there is nobody in the park, so you can sleep there nicely. Yeah, I gotta put myself in the bin plastic. Yeah, I cover myself by the blanket, so I slept there. Always when I'm passing across here, I always experience I always live the best experience that I lived here. At the time, and when I was sleeping here, I was not having any hope that another day I should have a keys and have my own place, have somewhere, whatever is not better, but at least I'm not outside of the way as I were before.
My 2 first years, when I came, I was still struggling. Language barrier, it's something that is killing most people. Nowadays, like people that are struggling to enroll the children at schools just because of the language, or the ones that are struggling to the hospital, and why not in real life, in all the aspects of life, people that can't communicate.
Here there is no refugee home. There is no refugee home for like a family to accommodate refugees, to accommodate people when they run from an insecure place to a safe place. Xenophobia is not only physically to attack people. When you're stalking people purposely is also a xenophobia activity.
The applicants behind a legal bid to try and keep Gauteng xenophobia camps open say a crisis has been averted as displaced immigrants will be allowed to stay at the shelters for another month. The Constitutional Court has ordered that the shelters be kept open, but it wants the people living there to leave by the end of September. It says Gauteng officials can in the meantime consolidate the shelters into one camp, but they can't force immigrants to leave.
go to Home Affairs to find out what is happening. It's also a xenophobia. Xenophobia is not only killing people or fighting them physically. Xenophobia by attitude is also a xenophobic attitude.
This was my first asylum paper. I got this paper in 2001. Then I start going, waiting for the outcome, because this paper is a Section 22 paper. I was supposed to wait for the decision, the final decision. And then so far on the way, one day I've been told that this file is lost. And then they issue this one, where you can see even the faces, even the paper, even the number is different. I continue reporting to the reception office from 2001 up to 2004 is where they issue me this letter of acceptance like a refugee in South Africa, while the law says 6 months. But it took me 4 years on the line.
I think one of the problems in the refugee system at the moment is that it's very difficult to access rights. And one of the main reasons is because it's very difficult to access the documentation. The documentation is what gives you access to services that are made available to people.
When I arrive in South Africa, you can see this paper properly. It's written in 2000 until the Wachineka case in 2002, which could allow now people to study and work with this paper. But in 2001, it's clear, and you can even see it is in bold. Compared to this, is like employment and study is prohibited in South Africa. It means if I could not work, it means I could do crime. And this is a door open. The policy is opening a door to people to go to do drugs, and then to kill, to rob, to rape.
One of the reasons for this difficulty in accessing documentation has been the closure of the offices and the difficulties that people have had in applying for asylum, but also continuing through the asylum process. There have also been major difficulties in accessing different refugee reception offices due to violence outside the offices, reports of corruption, difficulties with security, as well as the convoluted process that many people are going through and that they don't quite understand. Delay is also one of the major problems in the system. It can take years for a refugee to have his or her status determined. And in the meantime, they have a very temporary status.
Luckily, I had a friend that was connected to one of the interpreter, so-called interpreter, and that guy just helped me. Even though they were asking for money, but since I was still a newcomer, I did not even have money on me. So the guy at least helped me to fill in the application form, and then I lodged my application. And I believe after a year, my application was successful, and then I was granted with a refugee status. I'm not really sure if those interpreters at the Department of Home Affairs are trained, properly trained. I'm quite, doubting about that.
I'm still in asylum sticker. I'm not a refugee yet because they did not agree with my claim yet. I can't keep on using a asylum seeker for years without getting a answer of my claim.
My 2 first years, when I came, I was still struggling. But after that, I started to work with Papillon, mostly involved with the English program. We run 2 levels, level 1 and level 2. It's not only given to refugees, even South Africans, so we assist the general public. So the course is run in association with the Rhodes language school. So which means at the end of the program, all our students, the ones that pass the exam, they get a recognized Rhodes language school certificate.
I'm feeling so stuck, I can't practice what I've studied about, I spend a lot of time in university to study about something that I hear. Yeah, whatever, South Africa is a developed country, but they must just open their hearts to the refugee people so we can work together. We have got a lot of skills that we can also bring to South Africa, but they can't enjoy it because they're limiting us. That is also a problem, Tell me when I'm standing behind car calling sky, is it not pleasing me? Not at all. It's not pleasing me. Some people, they can swear at you wherever you're getting something to allow yourself to take care of self. But some people, they can't give you respect. They don't know that you are a big man. They don't know that you are a very educated person. That is also too much difficulty. See? That's why, as we're living here, we don't have to bow our head. We still have to fighting to organize how to set our own country free, so one day we can go back there and return to the normal life that we were living. I've been risking my life. Even I'm revelating the thing that I'm talking now. I know that I'm on risk.
You can't expose for yourself and talk about the government, because government they didn't respect the refugee. I do 3 years in university. I do the constitutional law. I feel very sad because I'm here. I'm working here, checking the cars.
So in university I do the marketing, and after the marketing I do another informatique, like learning how to do the computers, things like that. So as a car guard, you just look after the cars, things like that. Fortunately, I'm not happy about that job I'm doing, because it's not what I was doing in the school. I was learning to the school, but in South Africa, because of the paper, because of a permit, so they don't allow, they don't give us.
I can't show my face because my face, the system politics there is not so good. When I go back, maybe they can kill me. I went to college for 3 years, and then I get a diploma in finance. I got a family, I got 2 kids, a wife, so I have to take care of them. So, but with the job I'm doing is very bad, very bad. So to take care of them is very difficult for me.
Well, I mean, there's the kind of jobs that they'd like to have, and then there's the kind of jobs that they have. And so you get a lot of migrants and refugees working in a kind of domestic sector, gardening, cleaning, working as nannies, or working in the hospitality sectors as cooks, waiters, cleaners in restaurants, areas that they can kind of hide.
My wife, she's a nurse by profession.
Bon, pour le moment, comme je ne travaille pas, je suis avec eux dans la maison comme ça. Si je trouve les boulots, je peux les envoyer à l'école. Bon, je souhaite qu'ils puissent aussi étudier, devenir aussi des grandes personnes, des docteurs, des infirmiers, des ingénieurs. La façon dont on nous traite ici, moi je suis toujours congolaise, mais comme je suis dans leur pays, si parfois ils nous traitaient bien, je pouvais être à l'aise. Mais la façon dont on nous traite, je ne suis pas à l'aise.
And what makes it worse is like the aspect of our kids are not even the one who's like 5 years and the 3 years, they are not even going to the creche. They are born here. And why are they discriminated? We don't know.
The birth certificate which is issued for a child who's not a national or a citizen, they always give them this sort of paper. You can see they've been alienated. It's written on top, alien, a stranger. And then this child who's born here, how is he alienated?
If a child is born in that country, at least to identify this child and then to make sure we give him support, because we don't know the future of that child.
It's so painful to leave a family, to go outside yourself, to find out about life. Because when I came here, my mom passed away in 2010. I couldn't go because I can't get there now.
Okay, being away from home, if you can see all the hair salons that we have here and those small markets, now I think that creates really a sense of belonging. So you find that if you go to that hair salon, you are not even forced to leave it. The reason is you meet your music there. Sometimes people are discussing about the country, and that makes you feel as if you were back home.
Right here, my employees are Congolese. It was the first purpose to open this. It's true, the first purpose was to survive. And the second one is for my young brothers and sisters to have something to do, like a job.
It means integration here is really a problem. Why is it so? We don't know. Who can give us an answer? We don't also know. But why are they doing this? We don't know. This country went through struggle. It means they know what is a refugee about.
At one level, the laws are very open. But if you think about what policy means, so while the law is open, the practices have been more and more restrictive. The closing of offices, the hostility people receive, the standard of proof that people require to provide in order to get asylum. So in that sense, it's still very closed. But let's say you do get refugee status. The law recognizes you. What could South Africa do? Or what could promote integration? I think, we concentrate a lot on the hostility, on the issues of xenophobia. For the most part, people integrate. If we look at how they do economically, refugees do better than most South Africans who come to the cities for the first time. They're here. They're part of something. What could we do that's more? I think we could ask people to be nicer. Clearly, that's one way. But I think what we could also do is start integrating these sorts of processes into planning. It's the same problems we see when migrants come, whether they're coming from KZN or they're coming from Zim. If the city and the government are not prepared for more people, there are always going to be more people fighting for limited resources. The government here has not thought about migration and urbanization as a major planning issue, and as a result, they've been unable to keep pace with the needs of their own citizenry. And in that sort of environment, it's inevitable that you're going to have hostility to additional people who are coming from even further outside.
Home will always be home. Out of your country, you just do whatever that you can do in order to survive at the first place. So I think up to now, this is what I try to manage to do. But with the permit that I was granted, now I believe that I can change things around. I'm even planning to go back and do some studies, and maybe after that, then I can make a new plan.
My feelings like here in South Africa, I can live as long as God wants me. Yes, I apply for my permanent residence, even if I become a citizen, but I'm still having my root.
But I don't care because nothing can hurt me. Nothing can't kill all of us. We'll keep on talking until we will be away. Until those government, the one that they are oppressing Congolese people, the one that they're killing people, those one that they're raping our women. Time is going to come. We're not going to be a fear of you. We'll keep on talking until you're going to go away.